Welcome to the Girl Talk Mental Health. Girl Talk Mental Health dares to go where others won't. We unpack the hard truths about mental health, dissect trending topics, and challenge the stereotypes and stigmas holding us back. From navigating the 6 dimensions of wellness to redefining social norms, this is more than a discussion. It's a revolution in how we care for our minds and souls. Ready for bold, honest conversations that spark change? Let's dive in. It's time for real talk with real impact.
If you've ever cried in silence because you didn't want to seem too sensitive, if you've ever swallowed pain so you wouldn't burden others, this week, Girl Talk Mental Health, this episode was made just for you. And I want to welcome you back to another episode of Girl Talk Mental Health, where we keep it real, we keep it healing, and we keep it holy. And today's guest is someone who is very special, who is going to help us walk through a few processes and give us some information about some healing journeys so that we can heal together and become one. So, welcome, Miss Tami Matheny, to the stage.
Well, thank you very much, Virginia. I'm excited to be here. And I'm going to have to say that introduction got me fired up. I love that. So,
Yes. So, introduce yourself to our audience and let them know a little bit about you.
I'm Tami Matheny. My title is mental game coach. I work with youth, adults, anybody, primarily athletes, but I do have non-athletic clients. But I help them train their brain how to get their brain to function on a higher level, to help us, especially when we are faced with adversities, are these just yucky emotions that are human.
Okay, that's interesting. So, a game coach like sports games.
That's yeah, but life is a game.
Uh,
So,
okay.
I like to say it's life skills, but
Hmm.
80% of my clients, I'm using sports or a sports game as the analogy, but it's life skills when you dive down into it.
Yeah, I asked that because I was looking at some of your books, and I'm like, that's interesting. I wonder if the game part is like a play on, the game of life, or maybe like how we play board games, or some other pun like that. So that's interesting. So you ready to dive into this impactful conversation today?
Can't wait.
Okay, so many women, so many strong women are taught to suck it up and keep going, right? So what has that cost us as women emotionally, and what's the first step to unlearning that?
I think there's a number of things that it has created in us. Number one is it's cost us to lose some of our identity, and we lose confidence. We think we're being strong, but when we suck it up, it just eats at us. And we start to question who we are because we're not in alignment with our true self. Secondly, it creates a lot of physical symptoms. And we could spend a whole episode on, depression, migraines. I mean, it's just so many things. Even heart issues are linked to us just sucking up emotions. And then there's the mental strain that it causes as well. So it really disrupts your life in every aspect.
Right. And so listeners, as a part of how we self-reflect, which is how we grow, we have to self-reflect on these things, especially when we're suppressing emotions or whatever. But self-reflection is how it shows up and how we can handle it better using those strategies and tips that you just provided. So that's perfect. So tell us about, because you gave us some tips and tools. So tell us a little bit about the powerful method that you use for emotional mastery that's rooted in self-awareness.
Well, I think first of all, allowing yourself to feel the emotion. And I know there's moments in life where we have to go. Like we go back to the sports analogy. In the middle of the game, I cannot take that time to feel if I want to perform my best. As a parent, there might be situations where you can't take that moment, or on the job. But when you can, taking a moment and feeling. allowing yourself to feel that. Now, the important thing is feel it, but don't dwell on it. And I think that's important that we recognize that feelings are not facts, they're just signals. Because I feel something, that does not mean it's factual. It's just giving me a signal into something that's going on in my life or in my brain about my life. So now we're feeling it, we're dwelling, or before we dwell, we're allowed to feel it, process it, and then we need to name it to tame it. And I'm sure you've heard that before. I'm sure our listeners have. But once we name something, it does help take away a little bit of the impact it has. But too often we're like, I just feel depressed, or, well, what is it? Are you angry? Are you disappointed? Are you, there's so many different emotions. And I think sometimes we group them together. So that's the next thing. Name it to tame it. We're accepting that we feel it, name it. And now ask yourself, do I want to continue feeling this? And that's a powerful question. And, one of the things that I say, and if any listeners on here have heard me before, they probably laughing or rolling their eyes, because if you're around me, I'll say this. But do you want to be right or successful? And
Okay.
you may have every reason in the world that, yes, that is right that you feel that way. But does it help you be successful in life?
Mhm.
So again, I want to make sure that we understand, accept it first. I'm not telling you to, again, suck it up. We're accepting it, we're naming it. Now we're asking if we want to continue. Hopefully you don't continue feeling negative emotions. And so then the next step that we take is understanding where emotions come from. And emotions are nothing but chemical reactions in our brain.
Mhm.
So we feel something and a chemical reaction happens. Well, it will die out in 90 seconds if we let it. But Virginia, what do we usually do to a negative emotion?
Oh, well, I myself would find a way to make it a positive emotion.
Okay, I like that. And then we're gonna get to that. But most of us feed it. We
Mm.
we we pour every reason that we have to justify it or find evidence. Like,
Put
maybe.
gas on the fire, right?
Exactly. Maybe your husband gets you mad and you think about all the other times he's gotten you mad in the past, or your boss or someone. And so we just keep that chemical reaction alive in our body. So you're right. We want to change it and think about something positive or something productive or change the perspective. So we got
Now,
three.
do we do that to like rationalize to make ourselves right? Like what you're saying,
Oh,
to try
yes.
to make ourselves right? Yes.
Yes. We want to justify that we have a right to feel that. And you probably do. But again, do you want to be successful? And
Mm.
and so that's a powerful question. I have to ask myself that several times a day. And I teach this, so but it's one of my go-tos that helps me. Okay, I have a right to feel this, but this isn't going to help me have the relationship I want, or win this contest that I'm playing, or get this client that I want. Um, so, all right, we don't want to feel this way. So now we change our thoughts, like you said, to something positive.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not one of these that's what I call Pollyanna positive, and everything in life is positive.
Right.
Um, but it could be something productive then. So if I can't think of something positive, what's something productive? Or I change my perspective and think about anything else but what is making me mad, sad, whatever it may be. And then that shift of focus helps you move on. You can't have two thoughts at one time. So
Mm.
the powerful thing is you can't control that initial thought, but you can control what you do with it after that.
Now,
So
quick
I threw a
interjection.
lot. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I threw a lot.
Women, for the women who are strong, right? And
Mhm.
if you're strong, that means you're doing a lot of things. You have the kids, the family, the work, and everything, which means what? We rush, rush, rush. Everything is rush, rush, rush. So to help them kind of like put this into a normal daily perspective and how to intertwine it into the rest of our 1 million tasks, how long does it usually take to do a process like that? Is there like a time frame or?
I think everyone has to find what works for them. That's the thing about the human brain. All of our brains are different, and we all resonate and respond to different stimuli, different things at different times. So it's, I like to think of it as a routine. We have to get into a routine of how we process and handle emotions, just like your morning routine. And that's different for all of us as well. And then I think you have to know the situation. If I'm at work and have to make a crucial, quick decision, or if I'm playing sports, then we don't have as much time to process. But making sure that you give yourself that time afterwards or before you go to bed at night. I think journaling is a great way to help you process those emotions so you're not just continuing to shove it down. But you're right, powerful women that we have all these roles and everything, we don't always have that time to stop in the moment. But make sure you're having some routine in your life where you are allowing yourself to unpack that.
Right. Be more intentional and strategic about it because, as you said, it is important to your success, especially if you want to continue being
Right.
success. Because if you're a strong woman, 9 times out of 10, you probably are pretty successful. But to continue that, you do have to stop and reflect. So, ladies, stop and reflect. Or gentlemen, we have a couple of gentlemen that watch from time to time. So stop and reflect on how your emotions are showing up and process. And people are scared of themselves. I think that's one of the biggest things too. Like they are scared of those thoughts of reality because they think they are reality or they think they're stuck with those realities. So they just push them to the side and keep going because they don't want to stop and think about this is what it could be because this is what my brain is saying.
And you're right. The reality, our thoughts create our reality. So the more you continue going with a thought that's making you feel negative or unworthy, then that's what's going to show up in your life. So I
Mhm.
like to say, change the channel. If you're driving a car and a song comes on the radio you don't like, what do? You change the channel. If you
Right.
watch a TV show that you don't like, you change the channel because you don't want to waste your time watching or listening to something you don't like. So why would we do that with our brains?
Mhm. So before we go to a quick commercial break, because you gave, I think it was about 5 or 6 steps. So say those 5 or 6 steps real quick. And while we're on a commercial break, I want you all to reflect, think about it, drop some questions in the comment that you may have for Tammy or for myself, and then we'll come back after the commercial break. But give us those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s real quick.
Okay. So when you have time, go ahead and accept that emotion. Feel it for a moment or feel it for 5 minutes if you have that time. But then accept it, name it to tame it, and then ask yourself, do I want to continue feeling this? Do I want to be right or successful? And then hopefully you want to be successful and you want to move on that. Then you have to change your thoughts. You have to shift your focus to something that's positive, productive, or changing the perspective.
Okay, there y'all go. Y'all hear the steps. So while we go to our quick commercial break, y'all journal that real quick, write down those steps, and then when we come back, she'll give us some more details. If you have any comments or questions, just drop them in the comments, and someone will answer your questions and your comments and respond to you as soon as possible. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
You weren't meant to break, you were set apart. What if your deepest pain was the birthplace of your greatest purpose? Meet Gingerbread, a child caught in the chaos of her mother's depression and suicide attempts. She never asked for trauma, shame, or to feel invisible, but she found something greater. Set Apart, the journey to find hope through loneliness, shame, and death is more than a book. It's the breakthrough you didn't know you needed. If you've ever said, "I'm fine," when you were falling apart. If you've ever thought, "This story isn't for me," it is. Don't let fear, excuses, or busyness rob you of healing. This book will shatter the silence, stir your soul, and remind you, you were never forgotten. You were set apart. Set Apart, the journey to find hope in times of shame, loneliness, and death, by author Virginia Dale Manning. Available now, because hope can't wait.
Okay, so welcome back to our second half of Girl Talk Mental Health. And we have Miss Tami Matheny here. On the first half, she gave us some powerful 5-step processes and some additional processes within those processes of how to, that's it. Those you got to have those bam, 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 and then within the bam, 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 there's some more bam, bam, bam. She gave y'all some powerful steps and processes. So you were supposed to be thinking about that, pondering on it, and dropping your comments or whatever in the links below. But let's continue. You ready? Or you have some additional bam bams? Let's bam bam bams.
Hey, ask me that. I'm sure some will come up. I like BAMs. I
Bam
like.
bam bam. All right, like okay. So you've worked with countless women and probably men as well about navigating trauma and shame. So what's one truth about emotions that every woman listening needs to hear today?
I think emotion. It's important that we remember emotions are wisdom, not weakness.
Mm,
And what we've been told in our society, at least I know growing up, I was taught this, that having an emotion was weakness. And so you start to believe that and process it. But again, I said earlier, they're not facts, they're signals. So it's wisdom. It's giving us wisdom that something is going on inside ourselves or externally. So now we can do something about it. But when we think that it's weakness, we just keep pushing it under the rug, pushing it under the rug till one day it explodes.
that's
Or,
good.
or it manifests itself in a lot of, negative behaviors of, you know, drinking or drugs or even, I've seen excessive workout from some athletes. That's the way they cope with it.
hmm Positive versus negative reactions. Either way you go, you have to do a reaction or take an action. So
Ooh,
sometimes that's part of that stop and reflect, and you have to decide: do I want to have a negative reaction or a positive reaction?
yeah, exactly. I like that. I'm gonna have to use that.
I tell that's what I do with my clients all the time. I'm like, either way it go, you have to make a decision. All of us, I forgot what the statistics is of how many decisions we make in one day, right? It's an astronomical number. But either way it go, that's why you have to stop and think. And before you make that decision, reflect. What outcome do I want? Right? Do I want a positive outcome or do I want a negative outcome? I want success, as you said, or do I want to stay stuck in my head that's telling me all these negative types of stories that I don't need to believe?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Um, yeah, one thing I'm gonna add to that, Virginia, if it's all right, but I think too often, and I know I've been guilty of it, we blame the situation for our emotion. But it's really a situation happens, we have a thought about that situation that creates the emotion. So if we know that, then it goes back to, those 5 steps that I gave that if we don't want to continue feeling that way, then again it goes back to changing the thought. We can't change situations often. So
mhm.
let's change our thought. Let's create a new reality for us that, kind of throws us out there into the future with faith versus fear.
Mhm. So why do you think we do that? Why do you think we do that?
I think you said something earlier on before we went to break that it's kind of we don't want to have to deal with things. We
Mm,
feel something, we don't want to take time to unpack it because we may learn something more about ourselves. And it's easier just to gloss over it or, even if we're mad, sometimes that's a comfort zone. And,
mm,
we don't like to become uncomfortable. We like to default, and that's how we normally react to something, respond to something. But it takes guts to, dig into yourself and learn yourself better so you can then make changes to become the person you were created to be.
mhm. And I guess in a sense, it's like to take accountability. We say suppressing, but at the same time, suppression in a sense is a lack of accountability. Because if you were going to like forge forward with it instead of being fear, like you said, faith over fear, and forge forward with it, then you wouldn't have to suppress it.
Exactly.
Got to
And
face it head on.
but we see that a lot in life. We don't like to confront other people. We don't like to have difficult conversations with others, and we definitely don't like to with ourselves.
Mhm.
Um, but sometimes that leads, often, not sometimes, more times than not, that leads you to something better if you get through the uncomfortable.
And then another thing that I tell my clients all the time, like if something is hard, Like if you go, trying to do something, you have a goal or whatever, and then you have a roadblock or it's hard. 9 times out of 10, it's because you're on the right path. Anytime you're on the right path, trying to get success, there's going to be blocks. So that's like almost complimentary. Like I need that roadblock because it's letting me know that I'm on the right path. If it's so easy, you have to quit. Oh, it's too easy. That means like, I must not be doing enough or on the right path or whatever because it's too easy. So
Hmm. If it were easy, everybody could do it or be it.
that's why it's only like 1 and 2. I tell them that's why it's only 1 to 2% people who are millionaires and billionaires because most people can't make it through those hard blocks. And we think it's easy because hey, now they're in this lavish lifestyle with they billions of dollars or whatever. But you don't know how hard it was for them to get there and how hard it is to sustain it.
Exactly. And you say that with billionaires, the same thing with athletes. We look at the elite athletes. Oh, well, if I were Michael Jordan, it would be easy for me too. If I were Serena, but you don't know the behind the scenes that everything that they had to go through to get there.
Yep, as they say, struggle makes you strong, but you have to get through the struggle to get to the strength as well.
Oh yeah.
All right, Tammy. We have my favorite, well, the audience's favorite part of the show, the listener's favorite part of the show. Are you ready for the favorite part of the show? The spotlight question? Yes. All right. So, what's one mindset shift or action step you believe could transform how we approach mental health and wellness in our daily lives?
I think what I would say it's actual exercise that I challenge my clients to do for 5 minutes a day. At the end of the day, you get a journal out, piece of paper, and for 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes, write down your negative, unproductive thoughts. Underneath each one, rewrite it to something that was positive, productive, or change the perspective. And what you're doing is training your brain to start thinking on a higher level to help you shift your mindset when you are dwelling in these emotions. And if you do that on a consistent basis, it's amazing how in the moment you'll start to be able to respond that way.
Like rehearsing the new story instead of
Mhm.
always rehearsing the negative story.
You're just getting in reps. I mean, it's easy, or it might sound good when you say something or I'm saying something on here, but you got to practice it, and that's just a great way to practice it, so it becomes more of a habit for you.
Right. So if y'all have any comments or need additional guidance or whatever, first of all, you can comment in the link to the show. But also, Miss Tammy, let them know where they can find you at and if you got some type of special offer or program going on to share with them.
So, but the best way to find me, where everything's located, is on my website, www.tami, Tami, Matheny, Matheny.com. I'm pretty active on Twitter, Tami Matheny Coaching, and then Instagram, Tami Matheny Coaching as well. Um, I do have a special offer if you reach out, or I don't know if you can put it in the show notes, Virginia. I should have asked you this before. But I have a free confidence calendar that I put out each month, and it just gives you a day to day little tidbit or something about confidence. Because to me, confidence is the root. If we are confident, we're going to be able to overcome the challenges that create those negative emotions or our negative mental space.
That's good. Yes, it will be in the notes. So if y'all hop into the notes or if you feel like you don't see it, just come in and you'll get the calendar. But that's good, a confidence calendar. So any closing remarks or anything before we close this awesome impactful show out today?
I just want to remind everybody, do you want to be right or successful?
That's it, point blank, period. Huh? We're gonna put that in the show notes too. Put it in the show notes, okay? In our bio. Y'all see that in our bio, okay? So, ladies, if you are saying I don't have time, we made every episode of Girl Talk Mental Health just under 30 minutes. So you have time. If you're saying I already follow a bunch of pages, but are those pages directly speaking to your pain and your purpose? And if you are saying, what if this is not for me? Well, proof is today. this show is for you, then you've lost nothing, right? So what is it to lose to watch and do the exercises to help you to gain your peace, power, and perspective? So we want you to rewatch, share with a friend, another lady, do some of the tips and tools that she gave you, do them over and over. If they don't work the first time, guess what? Do them again until they become the new habit. Override those negative thoughts that you have going on so that you can move forward to your next level of success. So, Miss Tam, and I realized I was saying your last name wrong, but I'm sorry.
No,
So,
everybody knows that is quite all right.
we want to see y'all on the next episode of Girl Talk Mental Health. Go and connect with Tami and work those steps, okay? We are here for you. We want you to be peaceful and positive in your next level of success. So, see you all next time.
Thank you for joining us for Girl Talk Mental Health. Remember, your mental health is your wealth. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to at Virginia Del Manning.